What would you do if you had a wand? If you had a wand, which I have a wand, and I could use it on my real estate career and change a few things about it, what will I change? Well, for me, I will probably start in commercial real estate versus residential. And I want to tell you why. My guest, dear friend today, Josiah Biddle, is going to tell us why it is real estate commercial that is so attractive and it is so rewarding. Right here, right now, in the Homebuyer Town Hall, Florida. Welcome to the Homebuyer Town Hall Florida. My name is Adriana Montes. I'm your host today. I'm the broker and CEO of Florida Dreams Realty and Capital Group. With me today is a esteemed colleague and friend of mine. His name is Josiah Biddle. He is specialized in commercial real estate. Welcome, Josiah.
Hi, Adriana. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm delighted to have you here today. Like I said at the beginning of the statement, I love commercial real estate. I am getting more and more involved into commercial real estate, and you have been a great mentor for me. And I want the audience to learn more about commercial real estate. So first of all, please tell us a little bit about you, your background, your family, where were you born, everything that is so exciting about your life and that you want to share with us.
Well, thanks for having me here today. I was born here in Orlando, but then moved to Guatemala when I was 5, and my parents did missions work there. So we lived in a pretty remote area, 6 hours from the nearest grocery store. So we lived in a very, more impoverished area, helping the people that really need the help. And was there for about 12 years, and then came back, went to college, and I really didn't know what I wanted to do with my life, but my dad had a couple residential rentals, and so I would work with him and help him fix them up and stuff. And I learned real quick that the manual labor part was not for me. So then I decided, once I graduated, well, what am I going to do? And I had gotten a degree in political science, and I decided I don't really want to be an attorney or, I didn't want to do that. And so I figured, well, what are my other options? And so I was going to start to do the residential real estate, but then I decided that, I like logic and numbers, and I'm not, very good at the, emotional sales as much. And so I decided that commercial is what I wanted to do. And I figured, what properties would I want to one day own? And I figured, well, I like warehouses because, you don't have to do as much work to fix them up. You don't have the TI nightmare like you do with, office buildings. And then you're not dealing with toilets and tenants, that are, complaining about light bulbs and landscaping or whatever that those things may be. And so I figured if I want to own that, then I should broker it so I can learn how to, learn what a good value is and figure out, how to find some decent deals. So that's kind of, that was my approach to it. And, I've had to talk to a lot of brokers in town. This was coming right out of the recession. And, I got started in 2014. So that would have been, I think 2012 was the real bottom. And in college, I was able to buy a couple small, rental houses, over in the not so nice parts of town. But, that gave me a great learning experience. And I figured, well, I'd like to scale this up a little bit more on the commercial side. And so that's kind of how I got started. So I started out, as a broker, and, I did like maybe 2 months in the office to learn the lingo for the industrial stuff. And then, after that, I decided to go knock on doors because that's, you have to get your clients from somewhere. So I would go and hand out flyers, and I'd knock on a lot of doors, and I still do that to this day. And that's how I get probably 90% of my deals is through the door knocking stuff. So, yeah, that's been kind of my story in a nutshell, and that's kind of what's worked for me. So I'm Josiah. I'm a local broker in Orlando. I specialize in industrial property. I work with a lot of local guys buying and selling their buildings. So my cell number is 407-625-3670. And please reach out if you have any needs in the Orlando area. And I'm getting ready to go tee off here in about an hour. So looking forward to a beautiful Florida day.
Wow, Josiah, what an inspiring story. I mean, you seem very young, and it's so inspiring to see somebody so young going out there and being passionate about making a difference in people's lives through their careers, which is like you're doing. You know, when you buy a property, you grow it, and then you sell it. And it's just like, basically, it's that passion, you know, that passion that identifies people that excel and do better and creative things in real estate versus other ones that are just not as creative. So I love that story that you were saying about knocking on doors. But before that, I want you to explain the audience the different types of commercial real estate and what it entails, and again, explain the benefits and disadvantages of each one of them.
Yeah, so I would say there's several. So as a broker, you know, that's the best way I have found to get leads, is just go door to door. And a little bit different than residential in the fact that there's only so many warehouses, and there's, you know, a somewhat limited number, so you can get to know the buildings that way and get to know, you know, the guys that own them and the tenants and when their leases are up and all that. And that's a great educational way to do it, is by going out, knocking on doors. And from an ownership perspective, you know, it's far better because we have what are called triple net leases. And that means that the true net income that you get is your income, and you know what you're getting every month. Whereas with like a residential house, if you you know, you lease your house to a tenant and they're paying you you know, $2,000 a month, well, you don't really know totally what repairs you're going to have on that house, and you know, you don't know totally what you're left with each month, because you could have a big repair that comes up, or you know, a toilet leaks, or you know, whatever those things are, and or a tenant destroys the place. And you know, in commercial, you know, you pass a lot of those costs on to the tenant, the real estate taxes, the insurance, and then a lot of the little repairs are covered by the tenant. So that's one of the biggest differences from a leasing perspective and an ownership perspective, owning a commercial property that you have a net lease deal on versus a residential property.
Great. And what about like office space? What about multifamily? Like what is your thought or experience with all of these other classes?
I honestly, I don't have a lot of experience in those other classes. I kind of know my lane, and that's kind of what I stick to. I don't really think I don't have the ability to speak on the benefits of, you know, multifamily and office over industrial. I think, in my point of view, I think industrial has been certainly the favorite child over the last, you know, 5 to 10 years, due to the transition from, you know, retail to e-commerce. And so, you know, a lot of the buildings you see going up are, you know, big boxes, and that's almost all the new development is, you know, catered towards e-commerce. And so there's been a huge transition over the last 10 years in that.
Wow, that's great. That's great, actually, that you specialize in warehouses, industrial. I've been reading this book called One Thing from Gary Keller, and it is just better to do just one thing, you know, one niche, one thing that you can specialize. We are in a society that tries to say that we need to multitask and do so many things at once. And sometimes it happens to myself as well. Like I start all these projects, and when I go back and look, I haven't finished all of them because I'm just trying to do everything at the same time. So kudos and congratulations for you as a professional to specialize in what you love and what you're learning. And out of curiosity, so I want to know, how is it that you knock on doors? Take me to a day on your life. How will you go knock on doors? What will you say? Why will you decide to stop at a property? I'm so curious about a day in the life of Josiah Biddle knocking on doors.
Well, the nice thing is every day is a little bit different. No 2 days are the same, and I think that's one of the benefits of doing this job over something else. But I think basically, practically, how it would work is maybe you get a listing in a specific area, and then you take that flyer for that listing and you hit all of the warehouses within, say, 5 miles, and you hit all those guys, and through that you're trying to find someone for your building to lease it out or to buy it, but also you're trying to get new clients. And so through that they might say, well, that building isn't big enough for me, I need something that is a lot bigger. And you say, well, how many square feet do you want? And they say, well, this is what I need. And then you say, well, what kind of ceiling height do you want? What kind of power do you need? How much parking do you need? What location do you need to be in? How far from here can you go? Do you need dock high or ground level? How much office space do you need? How much warehouse space do you need? And through those questions, if you can ask those and you get straight answers on that, then you'll have a good idea for what that client is looking for. And without knowing those, it's really hard to find them something or to make a deal because you haven't really asked the right questions.
Great approach to that. So basically, you get a listing, and then once you have that listing, you go to prospects that could buy that listing from you, and by having conversations.
They could buy this from me, but more importantly, I'm learning about their business and what they need and what they want, and following up with them, when they do want to do something, if that's not right now. So it's building the pipeline.
Yeah, building the relationship and knowing what everybody wants, and when something across like that comes, then you already have a buyer, or if you see something that could apply to them, you just offer it to them and talk to that seller. Very smart, very smart. I love that knocking on doors approach. I gotta go out there with you one day and do it. So
yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, so I'm so excited that you're here in this show. I want you to tell us what is your passion in life? All of us work so hard. All of us have this passion for our businesses. You and I share high work ethic. But at the end of the day, I want to know, what is your passion? What drives you in life?
Part of my passion is not only the building wealth, but also figuring out the right places to give that. And everybody has their own preference on that. But for me, growing up in Guatemala where I did, and being in the very impoverished part of those countries, those are the people that I kind of want to help, is people that are in those situations with basic needs. And so, part of what I have found fulfillment in more recently is giving to those areas. So, there's Guatemala, and then some stuff over in India also with some wells and stuff. So I've enjoyed doing both of those things.
Wow, that's so admirable, Josiah. That's actually part of the American culture. I believe that's why America is so successful, and God have blessed America so much, because we're the top country that gives in any kind of disaster, any kind of has.
Yeah, we're very blessed as a country, and I think it's important to give back in whatever way that is. It's not always money, sometimes it's time, but time or expertise and helping the person that comes behind you. So I think both of those are great things, and I'm very blessed to be in this position. And it ultimately it's all it's all God given. So we're very blessed.
And I'm actually publicly gonna thank you in this show for helping me and mentoring me on commercial real estate. You are a genius, you're creative, you're so good with numbers. I clarify so many things for me when I have questions. So you're for sure giving back, in the area of mentorship. And as you touch in missions and a purpose, I want you to tell us more a little bit about your parents and how nice of a legacy they've been building.
Yeah, so my parents have spent a lot of time overseas, and they've, lived in very difficult conditions for a lot of their life. And, you know, that's what, they've given their lives away for, for helping others. And I think that's been a huge example for me. And I'm very lucky to have that example in my life.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's a legacy that you should be very proud of, and I'm sure they're very proud of yourself also, being so disciplined, hardworking. And then another fun fact that I want you to share with the audience is that I know you love to travel. So I
Yeah.
want you to take us to some of these travel adventures, where you've been, how many countries you visited, and what is on your future.
So the future, who knows? But so far, the past couple of years has been a lot of traveling, along with, it's about 35 countries total is what I've been to. And I think, a couple of the things on the bucket list would be, I want to go heli skiing. I want to hike Kilimanjaro, and then I want to go down to Patagonia. So those are a couple of the things, that are near on the horizon.
Wow, those trips sound like they are a little bit more on the adventure side. So I hope you go with somebody else to be there with you.
Yeah.
And the big lemma of our show is the power is now. The power is now has so many meanings for everybody. So I would like to hear what the power is now means for you.
I think that's more of a carpe diem thing, taking advantage of each day. And, it's so easy to lose track of time. And, I'm guilty of that myself, or not being as productive, or whatever those things are. But I think, we do have each and every day to seize. So we should try and do that.
It's been delightful to be here with Josiah Biddle and talking about commercial real estate, more specifically about warehouses and industrial commercial real estate. And at this time, we're going to take a commercial break. And when we come back, we are going to have so much more fantastic information and so much more learning for you on commercial real estate.
The Power is Now magazines are the leading resource for real estate agents, mortgage bankers, entrepreneurs, and small home ownership businesses, providing leaders with business strategy information, resources and tools through PIN, real estate, programming guide magazines. Stay up to the minute with real estate news and information from industry experts. Subscription is free. Sign up today. thepowerisnow.com. thepowerisnow.com.